Hey friends, today I'm going to show you something that I think every business owner, especially in hospitality or retail business, needs to see. What if you could spy on your competitor's review, read those tons of feedback that customers have left on the Google Reviews website, track what's trending on Google currently or was before, and then have AI tell you exactly what products you should be offering? This will help you actually pull customers away from your competitors to you because you have analyzed what customers do not like, and you can offer something that is currently trending and customers might not even know yet they want it. In this video, we are going to build together a very simple yet business useful automation that scrapes Google Trends and Google Reviews and then uses AI to suggest new product ideas for our coffee shop that customers are already looking for but do not know yet they will want it in the future. Not all automations that we build should be sophisticated. I judge automation not by the number of nodes you have in it, but by business application value it provides. So let's see what we have today. Alright, so we're going to be using make.com to connect to third-party services, scrape the information from the Google Trends, from Google Reviews, pull that all information in the LLM, and provide us with the output in the Word document. And for this one, we're going to be using make.com as usual because it allows you to easily connect to third-party services like Google Reviews, Google Trends, get this all information in one place and work with it. So first of all, let's actually use the Apify actor. So Apify, it's a service that provides you with the possibility to connect to different scrapers. And if we go to apify.com, on the main page you can find many different Apify scrapers or Apify actors as they call them on the website. You can scroll, you can crawl the websites, you can crawl the Facebook pages, you can crawl Google Maps, etc. So there are many things you can go scroll down and play there. Today we're going to be interested in two scrapers. First of them is Google Maps review scraper. If we go right there, we can find all the scrapers that I've used before. And here we'll have two scrapers that will be needed today. So first of them is going to be Google Maps review scraper. This is how it actually works. So first of all, let me show you quickly. You need to provide Google Maps place. And for that to actually be present, today we're going to be operating as a coffee shop business in Dubai in the United Arab Emirates. We're going to be competing with Starbucks. So we'll be analyzing what people actually like about Starbucks, what they don't like, and what kind of products we can, create so that customers of Starbucks probably switch to our shop if we are somewhere nearby. So for this particular example, I've chosen the location that is not far from the Burj Khalifa. It's actually a big shopping mall, and here we can see plenty of different reviews. So for this one to work, we should actually extract a specific URL, and I'm gonna show you how that works. So we choose a specific location, we choose a specific place we want to work with, and here it goes. We've got plenty of reviews. Okay, so when we go to make.com, first of all we need to select the right connection, and you can connect through the API. I'm not going to show it today. You're going to select exactly the scraper you're looking for. In my case, I'm looking for the Compass scraper. So if you go there, you can see that's the name of the scraper here. Second, we need to put the run synchronously. Yes, this means that the next item in the scenario will not run until this actor finishes the run, and that's very important because first of all we're gonna scrape the information, and the second call is going to be getting the dataset items. So that's why we'll need two nodes here. So here then it asks for input JSON. If we go back to this website, so we need to pass the Google Maps URL. So if we go and check the URL here and pass the URL here, it will be pretty much enough to scrape the information. Here we only need to show how many reviews we want to scrape and from which day, what was the last date. So for example, from September 1st. And here we have an option to go to the JSON, and instead of just manual submitting and pressing save and start in the API, we're going to be connecting through the API to this actor, and that's why we need the JSON structure. So we select the whole thing and press Ctrl C, and if we're going to paste it in Make, it's going to be in the dirty format, so I don't like it. First of all, I'm going to enter this into the JSON formatter, and I press format and beautify, and then I copy paste that whole thing and paste it in. So that's why we'll have all those nice space bars, And we don't need to care about the formatting here. It's actually pretty easy and straightforward. And basically here you will see our URL, and we're scraping 100 reviews at a time, so we can set it to 1,000 reviews, as much as we want. I think 100 is going to be enough. So the next node that we're going to run through is basically getting dataset items. For the dataset items, you need to make sure you have the same account selected here, and you select the default dataset ID. So basically, once we run this thing, it's gonna first of all run an actor and scrape all the reviews, and the second it will output the results right here. Let's actually see how that works. Just because it will take some time, I'll probably decrease the number of scraped reviews as for the testing as we go, and then we're going to increase back to 100 later on. So let me run with, let's say, 5 reviews so that we save time. All right, we got some data, and here you can actually see how the data actually looks. We've got the direct URL, we've got the name of the person that left a review, we've got the number of reviews for that person, and here is the text that a person actually left, when it left, etc. So a lot of information. We don't need all that information, but we're going to keep in mind that we have it. So the next one, this guy is going to output us many bundles, right? And it's going to be 5 or 10 or 20, actually 5 bundles in this case, because we asked for 5 reviews, and we don't want to each bundle to simulate a specific run in our make scenario. That's why we need an aggregator module here, and that's why for this particular purpose we're going to use the text aggregator. And for text aggregator, need to set it that it takes the information from the get dataset items. And here I'll provide basically 2 things. So the first one is review. So that's going to be the text that we're going to pass. And the second what I'm going to pass is rating, just to make sure our AI, when it's going to read the reviews, it will understand what kind of information in it. And just so we have a sort of a separator between the reviews, because that's going to be just a list of different reviews, we're going to set this thing. So the next review will be actually on the bottom. After this one, it's going to go right here, and etc. That's why we have this structure, and we will have out of this one operation coming out that will trigger our scenario forward. Okay, one more thing here. For some reviews, we will not have any text. So for example, here, when we look at the third review, when we see text, it basically doesn't have any text. It means that a person that left a review just provided the stars rating, but it didn't write any text here. So in this case, I don't need this review because I can't really get any valuable information. And why would I waste resources like for an LLM to actually read something that where there's no text? That is going to be just spam. So instead, what I'm going to do is, if there is text in review, I'm going to set up a filter, and a filter essentially is going to filter out the ones that doesn't have any text in it. So if the text exists, then it's going to pass the review through, because this is basically the valuable review that we can extract for the analysis later on. So that's kind of our first node. And if we run this again real quick, let's actually see what results we're going to get. Okay, so the results that we get here is basically, look, review, you cannot pay for what you see. Thanks for free woman date juice. So we got only 2 reviews that have passed, just because 3 of the reviews that were scraped, they didn't have any text in it. So that's why we kind of filter out information. And when we're going to be scraping like thousands of reviews, that's what we need, right? We don't need a lot of spam in it. Okay, that's the first now. We got the reviews of that, and we can put an LLM here to analyze this. But just before, we want to also look at the trends. So for this one, we're going to use another API actor, and we're going to be using Google Trends Scraper. Again, we're going to go there, and here we have Google Trends Scraper. I think that's kind of a Mastra Google Trends Scraper, and that's exactly the one we have here. So make sure we run it synchronously. We need to input JSON, and that's why we go to this Google Trends Scraper, and here is the settings. So basically you can say what do you want to scrape it on. In my case, for example, I'm gonna go on coffee, or you can go with like latte or whatever. So in my case, it's gonna be a coffee shop. That's why I'm gonna go with like coffee related keywords. And let's, for example, go with like latte for whatever reason. So here it's gonna scrape basically the information for past 12 months for each 7 days. What kind of value and search volume was there in comparison to the other periods? We need to select the geo area, and since our location for the reviews is Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates, I'm gonna select the location here. And here we can have like another option that we don't really need right now. Okay, so once we have that, we can click again to the JSON and copy paste that. And again, if I go and place the JSON right here, it's a raw format. I don't like it. So that's why I'm going to go to the JSON formatter. It's going to format the JSON for me. And here I have it nice. So we save time. And what we see here, we've got the state, Arab Emirates, and then we got the search term. In my case, the search term is latte, and it's going to search the trend on the Google about latte. So similarly, if we go to Google Trends, we can go to Trends, we can say latte, for example, and here what is important, we need to select past 12 months and we need to select Arab Emirates. Okay, so we're gonna see the following. We're gonna see related topics, related queries, industry subregion. We're gonna see the interest over time. This is exactly what it actually gonna tell us right here when we scrape past 12 months for 7 days. So basically, what was the value on a scale from 0 to 100 on this particular period? Okay, so let's move back. So we've got this one ready, I guess. So the next one that we need to select is basically get the dataset items. Again, make sure you have the same connection. We get the default dataset ID, and the rest will leave the same. So now we can run the whole process and actually see how that works. Okay, so let's actually save that and run it. Okay, and while it's running, we actually gonna go to our Apify account and click runs. And here you will see that this run is actually going on. And here, if it's stuck at some point, you can go and see the logs. If there was any issues, why it's stuck or something. Actually, it didn't stuck, so it's still scraping the information. So we need to wait a little bit. So let's actually wait. All right, so results are finally loaded. And as we're gonna see here, we can have the interest over time. And then if we go there, we can see that from the March 1st to April 6th, looking at the value is basically saying the average score for or average peak of this interest was at 58. If we go to Google Trends and actually look at this line, we can see the difference value 68, 78, etc. You can read here. So basically the value of 100 means that's the peak interest, and of 0, it's not interested at all. So 50 is somewhat in the middle. So here we can see all those different values basically by weeks. And this was here when we selected that for past 12 months, we're gonna search every 7 days. That's what's going on here. Also, if we're gonna look at the related topics, for example, related topics stop, or let's do related topics rising. Okay, so this is actually saying what are the similar queries or topics that people are actually looking for and what is trending. So if we look there is like Giardini di Toscana Bianca Latte or whatever. So there is another topic which is Giardini di Toscana Bianca Latte, again the same thing. If we go to this one, Tiramisu Latte. So there are different things people are looking for. And as we can see here, for example, there is a value, I'm not sure, 23,000. That's probably the number of searches or something like this. I guess I haven't checked that, to be honest. And then we have related queries rising, which is also very useful. So here, for example, we can see that people are looking for Eclair Lataffa, whatever it is, Bianca Latte notes. It's they're looking for Hoicha Latte, for Inspire Latte, and many other things. So those might be the potential ideas that we're looking to integrate into our own coffee shop based on the trends that are currently rising. Okay, this is very important because we can actually take this into. I'm gonna get another aggregation module here. There's gonna be text aggregator, and again, I'm gonna get the dataset items from the 5th block. And here, what we need to do is we're gonna say top rising topics, for example, and we're gonna go here and we get related topics rising, and I'm going to select, for example, here we got the pistachio, right? And the other thing is plus 50%. It means it has increased by 50% more than on the previous term, but the value is just 50. So we might either include the value, or we can actually go and say value, and let's say, and here we got the increase, and let it say 50%. And then we can have top rising queries, okay, as another option, because this is what people are actually looking for. And people are looking for matcha latte calories, for example. And we'll get here value as well to make sure the AI gets the data about how much people are searching for it, and increase. Okay, so we got the increase plus 50%. Okay, so once we're gonna do this, it's gonna get all this information aggregate it into a whole one file that we later on can pass to our large language model. So the next module that we should set is going to be large language model. Once again, you have to connect via API. So we use create a chat completion for mini. I think that works for the most cases. Here, I'll probably change the max completion token to 8,000 because we'll be feeding a lot of pre-text in the prompting. That's one thing, but the other thing is we might accumulate some top rising queries, we might accumulate some reviews, so we want to make sure we have enough the context window. Probably set the top p parameter to 0.7 and temperature to 0.7 as well. What else do we need? We need to add a message. So here we'll have our user prompt, and for this one I'm gonna be using the prompt that I've already pre-created. And by the way, in order to quickly write it, because it usually takes a lot of time to write these prompts, I'll give you another hint. So you can go to here and say speech to text service. Okay, and here I found actually the first one right here, for example, and I can go here and say you connect your microphone and you start. I need a ChatGPT agent that is going to act as a strategic marketing expert that will analyze Google reviews and Google Trends, and out of this information it will make me a comprehensive summary of what products I should change in my coffee shop. So the background is we've got a coffee shop that's gonna do this and that and blah blah blah. Once we have that, we just copy paste that, we go to chat.com, and here I have the pre-created ChatGPT that actually writes prompts for another GPT agents. So, and instead of here to saying something, because I can actually go and use the voice mode as well, I'll just paste in what I just told another GPT and it transform it to text. So I didn't need to write this whole thing because it's actually boring. And here it asks me a few clarification questions, assume them yourself, for example, and let me actually, because usually it doesn't ask it. If you give it a little bit more detail, it will go and generate it. And if I go assume them yourself, this is what it comes up with. So it goes with the role, with the context and all that other details. So I have this prompt pre-created already, so I'm gonna take that with me. Okay, so and then we go back to our account here, and we basically paste that in. So we got the whole prompt right here. It just adds those weird spaces, but we don't really care. So the whole prompt is here, and if you want, I'll leave this down in the description so you can access it. So once we have the kind of developer system prompt, we need to add the user messages. And the two user messages we're gonna have is we're gonna pass the reviews from Google. So we go reviews. Let me go with Google reviews. Basically, we've got two nodes here. So this one is gonna get the reviews, and then we can have either as a separate message, let me say Google Trends. Google Trends will actually find it right here. So we pass those two things and it will output back me information. So we press OK. Oh, and the other thing, I actually asked it to provide this is in the HTML format so that we can save it in the Google Docs file. So the last thing we're gonna have here is we need to go to Google Doc and we're going to create a document. So once again, make sure you have the right connection, and here we're going to go with the name, and let me say Google Trends Analysis, and let me say let me set the current date. So we got the format date. For this one we're gonna put this one, and then we go with the format like we've seen right here. Basically it's gonna output the month, day, and the year. After that, actually we need to change the month and date with places, I guess. So it should be something like this. And then we're gonna go in the content, and the content part is going to be taken from the previous node. Okay, that's gonna be our results from the ChatGPT. The only difference here is it's gonna output the result in the HTML format, and it will provide us with those kind of weird marks. So let me quickly show how those look. So if you ask for your ChatGPT to output your something in the HTML format, it will have those stupid marks on the top and some leftovers on the at the end of your text. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove those strings from the result just because we don't need them, and the file is gonna be read as proper HTML. And then we go with another replace because we need still to remove those stupid marks in the end, and then we leave an empty string right here. Okay, and then the last thing is we need to create the folder when we're gonna create this, and let me go with ideas. I think that's gonna be just fine. Okay, so let's test the whole scenario, and let me save that. Let's put this one right here, and let's make it a little bit better visible for us. Okay, and let's run it and see what the result we're gonna get. So at the end, we should get a document with the suggestions for us. And while it's running, let me actually open the Google Drive. So we get ideas. So that was the last file. So okay, while it's running, we should be getting our results somewhere here. So let's actually wait for it to come. All right, I actually needed to take a break because I had a meeting. So we've run it once, but I noticed a couple errors here. So first of all, here we used only 5 reviews. So instead of 5, let's actually run it on 350 reviews. That's one thing. Another thing is here, when we look at top rising topics and top rising queries, so we have just 1 query per each. While in fact, there are actually more queries than that. There are like 18 queries that we can discuss, like pistachio, or there is, gingerbread latte and stuff like this. So we want to include all of these, but we don't include all of these just because it outputs this as one bundle. That's why here, instead of just simply a router, we need to add another module, which is going to be an iterator, and it's going to iterate over the array. So we've got top rising queries, and let me actually correct this one a little bit. So we'll get top rising queries. That's gonna be our one node, and here we're gonna insert another node, which is gonna be another iterator. So before the iterator, we'll need another module that we'll get through the API, and it will need to get the dataset items once again, and we'll need to refer back to the 4th module here, and here we just need the default dataset ID. Okay, so we've got default dataset ID. Okay, so again, we gonna get the same thing as we get there. And finally, after this one, we'll need another aggregator that's going to aggregate the whole thing right in here. But just because we don't have the data yet, so let's actually run this and see what data it passes so that we can then link that data later on. Okay, so let me unlink this stuff and let me actually run the scenario. Oh, and by the way, while we are testing, I'll still change this one to 5 reviews, and then we'll need to remember that we need to change it back to 350. All right, the results are up. So now we need to adjust a little bit the scenario. So since we have the iterator here, we will need to change that, just because when we open the text, we'll have exactly the same queries because it's just repeating what we got there n times. But instead of this one, we need to tie it to the iterator. So instead of this one, we use iterator, and here let's include the other variables. So we got the value here and increase right here. Okay, we click OK. Here is the same, but just instead of top rising topics, I think top rising queries. So here we'll have top rising topics. Okay, we're gonna use this array to iterate through, and just in order for here to use that, I think we got it right here. It's pretty wild. That's nice. Just before I connect it, I'll use the same setup right here. The only thing I need to change is top rising topics. Okay, and then here we just go with pistachio, we go with the value, and we go with the increase. Right, and now it seems to be working just fine. The only last thing is just basically changing the prompting here. So we've got the Google reviews from module number 3, and this is correct. So module number 3, those are Google reviews, and we'll got top queries here and top topics from this node. So we need to connect the right nodes to our ChatGPT. So it goes for the Google Trends, and instead of Google Trends, I'll go with top rising topics. And for this one, we're gonna use text from the block 6. Oh, it's actually top rising queries, and another one for top rising topics. And that's gonna be exactly the last one that we just added right here. So we pass that information to AI, and now it has all the complete information to create the right plan for us. Let's save it and try to run it again. And I have to abort the scenario because this is it seems like the final scenario. And since this is the final scenario, let's actually change the number of reviews to scrape to 350 and run it again so that we can test finally the output. Because it will take some time to actually run. I think it's about like from 60 to 120 seconds. So I might just speed up the process when we get the results. But I just wanted to make note that we have actually changed the number of reviews in the last step. So let's see how that works. All right, so the results are in. Let's actually see what we got. So we can go to ideas. And here we have Google Trends analysis for today. So let's actually check what it provided us with. Cafeteria marketing strategy report. Based on the analysis of the Google Trends and Google reviews for Starbucks in Abu Dhabi, we have identified key trends. So it suggested Bianca Latte, Hoicha Latte, Latte Abiat, Seahorse Latte Art, whatever this is. Okay. So it mentioned positive and negative mentions. This is basically because we had it in prompt to analyze the reviews and it kind of provided a summary. Let's actually look at the product and service recommendations. So it has selected 3 to 5 categories for product ideas. Hoicha Latte capitalized on the breakout interest in this Japanese roasted green tea latte. Bianco Latte, a unique fusion drink that combines the traditional latte with aromatic flavors appealing to local tastes. Eclair Latte, dessert inspired drink. Well, I would probably try this one myself. Seahorse Latte Art, creative latte art, especially themed around local culture. I mean, those sounds like nice ideas. Of course, you would need to think about how to implement those, and you can actually talk to AI and ask recommendations. But finding those cool ideas, basically, those are the things that are currently trending. And we also analyzed sort of reviews, what customers are talking about. And I think one of those were actually talking about the Eclair Latte. Either they liked it or not, but I just remember searching or through the reviews and I've seen that. So it's actually analyzed 350 reviews, and we can select like more 1,000 or 2,000 reviews just to get a little bit more comprehensive overview of what this kind of looks like. And then we get actionable recommendations, improve transparency in pricing, but that's probably related more to like Starbucks, our competitor, and staff training, etc. And this is a unique way you can actually approach this, because otherwise you would need to either scroll through those Google reviews yourself and also check the Google Trends. And if you've built the system once, you can use it many times. Basically, the trends are changing almost every day, so you may actually take a look at this or run it like a couple times a month just to see what kind of what is trending right now and how, you know, customers feel about it. And you can analyze pretty much each and every location as you want and see what customers do like, what they don't like, and how this actually, you know, plays with the current trends that are on the market. And maybe, you know, there is a new opportunity appears. Who knows? So there you have it. AI just gave us a data-backed, customer-driven playbook for competing with one of the biggest coffee brands in the world. If you found this video helpful, or if you're thinking of building something similar, drop a comment below and let me know what you would use it for. And hey, if you're into AI automation or using tech to get a competitive edge in your business, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notifications. I've got more builds like this coming soon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.